Alright, so welcome back to my channel. My name's Take Note. If you're tired of guessing in the markets, feel free to subscribe. Help you start trading with confidence. That's my sole purpose of this trading channel. You want to empower traders, teach traders how to actually analyze the markets and to actually know what it means to be a trader on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get straight into the video. So this video I'm gonna analyze. Description of what's happened this week in the markets, because it's been quite volatile. And if you haven't been, if you're not clued up, if you don't know what's going on, you would have really struggled this week. In regards to the markets, from the beginning of the week, if you haven't watched my videos from the last couple of weeks, what we've been looking at, and I'll swipe the chart clean, so we'll start from a clean point of view, yeah? So what we've been looking at on US30 and mainly on all industries, this includes crypto as well. I'll start with crypto actually. Crypto, we had an inauguration sell-off. That's when the sell-off actually began. And this was on all the charts. It's what you call, this was the inauguration for Ethereum. This was the inauguration for Solana. So on most crypto charts, we had a sell the news event that began on the inauguration day, and you can see that we started the downtrend here. This was on the 26th of January. Similar to US30 as well. So that's when the downtrend started for cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and most other cryptos. For US30, the main chart that I trade, what we saw on the US30 chart was we had a fair value gap at the highs of this range. And why is this important? Because when you get a fair value gap at the high of the range, it allows you to now figure out where you want to target for the lows. Because if you're trading at a range and you're in a premium part of the range, and what I mean by premium, I'll just elaborate to you really quickly. A premium part of the range basically means you're above the 50%. So that means it's premium part. So if you wanted to sell, you'd have a good risk to reward to target the lows of the range. So we was in a premium part of the range. We also had a market structure shift around here. What I'll do is I'll just put this on the chart just so it's clear for everyone to see. We had a market structure shift around the top of the range, and this is where I began to position short. Okay, cool. So we was targeting the lows of the range. Where could price come back to? We had here. This is a fair value gap on the low part of the range. Sorry about that. And we also had this fair value gap here. But as I mentioned to you already, the moment you get below the premium, so once you get into the discount, this is fair game to start looking for buy entries. This is where everyone was beginning to position long. And I noticed this on Friday the 21st of February. I noticed this when we began to approach this level, that liquidity was building up around this level. And what you saw happen today, you saw price, come back down here, tap, sweep liquidity at the lows, right here. And once we swept liquidity, price has started to go higher. So what does this tell us? This tells us that, look, we've got this area to buy at, we've got liquidity resting here, and we've got a perfect buy entry if we can position here. If price does decide to turn higher, this would be the perfect place to enter the market. So what did I do? I decided to get long. And this is how I get into my trades. I have a standard 250 pip stop loss. And then I target now I'd be targeting the highs of the range. So at this moment in time, I'll start to put my fair value gaps in of where I think price could potentially go to. And we have a fair value gap here. This is part of the premium part of the range. But I'll also go into the 4 hour and I'll look for fair value gaps on the 4 hour as well. Lucky enough, the main fair value gap at this current moment in time is just this one here. We also have a H4 fair value gap right here. So this is another place you could target. And this is where I position to get long into this market. And, if you don't believe me, it don't really matter to me whether or not you believe me or not. I will show you proof really quickly. So this is my entry on CMC markets. The day is not over, so we're still trending higher. I'm hoping that we don't get a massive rebound and, print a red candle and take me out. But I'm pretty happy with my entry at the moment, and I'm just gonna monitor this on the 4 hour chart and the daily chart. But as you can see, price is now starting to turn bullish, so you should be getting long. We've had a lot of bearish movement this week, and US30 is it's a bullish chart. It's a uptrending market. So you could also see that we're having a little bit of confirmation with the moving average is sloped higher. So if we can get a market structure shift right here, this market should really be targeting the highs. And one more thing to confirm is we have untapped liquidity here that I would love to call liquidity resting right at the top. So that's lovely to see as well. Well, that hasn't worked, but I'll just leave that as it is, to be fair. But that's what I'm looking at on the US30 chart. Really quickly, I also want to jump onto crypto. So crypto is was pretty interesting one. So prior to this, I actually had a few weeks ago, or for the past couple of weeks, I've had this saying that if we hold this level, we should be seeing a rally to try and retest the highs. And if it fails to retest the highs and it crashes below, we're most likely going to crash to 60, around this 60, is that 68, 66? Around 66,000. At this current moment in time, we've had, a lot of buy pressure come in. So I've given a signal to a few of my friends, a few of my family members that, you're ready to get long on crypto if you want. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I haven't got any crypto holdings at the moment, and I'm not really looking to get back into crypto, only because I don't really, it's too much. It's not, I can't really trade it with leverage. So because I don't really know how to trade it with leverage at the moment, getting into crypto is a bit of a stretch for me. But as I mentioned, I'm long on US30. I think a lot of crypto is going to start turning upwards. Ethereum, Solana is already turning upwards. As you can see, it looks like we've built up a base. We've swept up a little bit of liquidity down here, and we're holding this level. So, crypto looks like the bottom's in. Stocks looks like the bottom's in. This week we've had a lot of fear in the markets, which is good. And the last but not least, the most another important factor is, we've had all the news for this week. So I'm relatively happy to get long. I think now is the good time to get long into, stocks again, and to get long into crypto potentially. But, I could be wrong. All I can do when I look for trades and I look for entries, all I can do is manage risk. And that brings me on to my final point in this market. I want you guys to take a look at these two charts for me, just really quickly. So this chart looks like it's in a downtrend, yeah. I know I'm not on the thing anymore, but you can see my mouse. You can see this chart looks like it's trending lower, it's trending lower, it's trending higher, it's trending lower. It looks like it's trading in a range. I'm going to get to the point, but at the moment, you would guess that this chart is trading in a range, bouncing from lows to highs to lows to highs. How about this one? You'd probably say, at this point, it was making a top. It broke below here. You'd probably call this bit here, the neckline of a double top. And then when it broke the neckline, then price held here, held resistance, and now we're trending lower some more. And then even in this situation, price, came to this low area, held the low, and then rallied higher, and then we made a higher high here, and now price is trending higher again. Let's look at this one, this final one. Probably say the same thing. Trading a range here, we broke down to the downside. Someone might say, oh, this was a sweep of liquidity, and now we're back to trending higher. What if I was to tell you that these three charts that I have shown you are random charts? There's nothing to it. When I say random charts, I mean the data's completely made up. There's nothing accurate about it. It's just a bunch of lines that have been plotted by a random individual on the internet, and there's no x-axis, there's no y-axis, there's nothing to it. It's not price, it's not anything. It's just made up. the point I'm trying to make here is when it comes to trading, what you need to understand is with trading and with markets, all the charts tell you is how good places to manage your risk. That's all it is. So you need to be focusing on risk management, because the chart you could be looking at, it could be a completely random chart. You don't have an edge in the chart. My point is, when you look to get into trades, focus on managing your risk, because you could be looking at what you could be seeing on the charts. It could completely be wrong. As I said already, someone might look at this and say this is a sideways trend. Another person might look at it from here and think, no, we're in a downtrend. Another person might look at it from this bit to here, say we're trading in a range. Another person might look at it from here and say, oh, look, we've just broken out and we're in an uptrend. No one has a clue. What your system does when you trade is it gives you an edge. And when it gives you an edge, that edge provides you with an opportunity to be able to manage your risk. That's the most important aspect of it. It gives you an opportunity to manage your risk. And if you fail to manage your risk, then you don't have an edge. You don't have... If you can't trade 20 times in a row without blowing your account, then your system doesn't work, because you're not giving your system the opportunity to work. So that's just the last thing I wanted to get into. I've explained to you what I was looking at on the charts. As I said already, I'm currently positioned in US30 at the moment. And I'm just hoping that we go into next week with a bit of bullish momentum. But, if it gets swept and I get taken out, I don't really mind. But I'd like to believe the Nasdaq's going to start trending higher as well. Or let's have a look. Or maybe the Nasdaq looks like it wants to get back into trading within the range, within this range. It's swept liquidity to the highs. Now it's sweeping liquidity to the lows. And gold as well. Gold's, turned down. So at the moment, these ain't really charts that I would want to be positioned in personally. Maybe just the Nasdaq and US30. But because it's not actually within the range, I'd probably give them a miss. The only chart I'm in at the moment is US30. I like this chart. But yeah, let's take note. As I mentioned already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want more insights from me. Let's take note.